How safe is it to travel in the coronavirus era? We will describe the problems that have arisen in real cases of travel made in times of this pandemic, and some studies that have been carried out on the risks that exist when traveling in times of the coronavirus, COVID-19, as well as the measures that they are being carried out by entities interested in reviving the stagnant economy since the globalized general quarantine began, especially at airports. Join us in this interesting analysis in which we share data that can be very useful to you, about the risks that are taken when traveling, and the things that you must take into account for your protection. Hi. Hello and welcome to Financestock, our channel for financial education and personal development. We continue to share financial information for everyone. We invite you to reach the end of the video and share the information on your social networks. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, post a comment and like the video. We invite you to watch the following video from our channel. We are sure you will like it very much. Protect your health and the health of our family. Follow the recommendations of the health authorities to deal with the coronavirus. At Financestock we wish that the pandemic ends soon. How safe is it to travel in the coronavirus era? In times of the pandemic and with the measures that are gradually lifting the restrictions imposed at the beginning of the pandemic, it is important for the economy, commerce, finances and businesses, both for individuals and entities. Government, allow transport activities for which it is important to know the possible risks assumed when traveling in some way or another for the activities that we want to carry out. With numerous federal governments tightening travel restrictions to revive economic climates, airlines have begun bringing trips that have been postponed as the coronavirus pandemic spread. The revival of the economy promoted by transport is slow, as potential travelers are uncomfortable being contained in a cabin for a long time with possibly transmissible and unknown people. The document reveals that the dangers of the pandemic when traveling are far from insignificant. Has the coronavirus spread in airplanes? The answer is yes. While there is still relatively little published study of the spread of the infection in airlines, an investigation into a March 2nd trip from the UK to Vietnam suggested that a traveller transmitted the virus to 14 other people, and a participant of the air team. 12 passengers were resting near the first suspected case, which coincides with the suspect's anticipated spread. The International Air Transport Organization, the commercial group of the world's airlines, stated that in addition to this case, a casual study of 18 main airlines determined 4 episodes in the first 3 months of the year of suspected in-flight transmission of passengers to airline staff, and also 4 others where one pilot was able to transmit the infection to another. This group of airlines represented 14% of world air traffic in that period, according to IATA. Have comparable viruses spread on planes? Yes, infections like SARS, the flu, and also smallpox, which, like today's coronavirus, are spread through coughs, sneezes, and the breathing of infected people, have spread on airplanes. During the 2003 SARS episode, which was also triggered by a type of coronavirus, 40 flights were found to have brought probable cases of the SARS virus and also infected other passengers. Researchers found that the best risk comes from sitting 2 rows from a contagious passenger during a journey of more than 8 hours. Still, in a situation where 20 individuals developed the virus from exposure to a contaminated traveler on an Air China flight from Hong Kong to Beijing, less than half rested within 2 rows of the original case. Additional infections were also seen in passengers sitting on the opposite side of the center aisle. What can make flying dangerous? People infected with the new coronavirus release drops that contain viruses by speaking and mouths, which can be transferred directly to a close person or by touching a contaminated surface area, and then touching their mouth, nose, or eyes. What makes flying dangerous is the same as other types of transportation: proximity to other people and typical touch areas. The airport can also be a risk as guests wait in line, register for flights, go to food vendors, as well as usage centers, such as toilet facilities. What about air transmission? It is also feasible that the coronavirus can be transferred using smaller particles that individuals throw from their noses and also from their mouths, called aerosols, which can temporarily drift through the air and inhale. The aerospace industry claims that contemporary aircraft ventilation should mitigate the danger of this type of spread. Air in an aircraft is generally a 50-50 mixture of sterile outside air and also recirculated cabin air that has been filtered. According to Airbus SE, and also Boeing Company, all of their aircraft are equipped with HEPA filters, which capture fragments as small as infection. Airflow goes from ceiling to floor rather than front to back and is also divided into sections throughout the cabin, which should limit the movement of fragments throughout the size of the aircraft. However, modeling recommends that this airflow be affected by elements such as seat and cabin design, as well as aircraft precision. Furthermore, these airflow systems may not be fully functional when aircraft are parked on the eviction. An influenza outbreak in 1979 arose from travelers on board an airplane with the ventilation turned off. What about the bathroom? Going to the bathroom on a plane in the coronavirus era already sounds too much, and airlines tell guests not to stand in line to go to the bathroom and also to press the doorbell and wait for approval to take the phone call from the nature. Currently, there's one more thing to worry about, with a new research study, from Physics of Liquids magazine, discovering that flushing down the toilet causes a cloud of aerosol shards rising to a height of nearly 3 feet. These could stay in the air long enough to be inspired by the next individual on the toilet, or make it to the sink, for example. Some people with coronaviruses have been found to have live fragments of infection in their stool, making it a theoretical, though hitherto unproven, form of contagion. It is possibly an advantage that some airlines no longer offer food and drinks. What else are airlines doing to minimize threats? Airlines are cleaning planes more regularly and thoroughly, and they recommend that passengers not use cash. They are making use of online check-in, online payment, as well as the automatic delivery of suitcases and informing passengers to wear safety masks during their trips. In the United States, JetBlue Airways Corporation and also Delta Airlines Incorporated have only ensured to leave space between travelers, although other service providers are restricting the maximum number of passengers on each flight, when possible. European airlines have hesitated to dedicate themselves to vacating the center seats, claiming that scientific research is restricted to the effectiveness of the technique, and that it would certainly make travel too expensive to execute. What are flight terminals, airports, doing? At London's busiest Heathrow Airport terminal in Europe, passengers and staff will be required to wear face masks and will also see signs throughout the airport that tell people to keep a safe distance range. The hand sanitizer is widely offered at more than 600 kiosks throughout the flight terminal, and temperature tests are also being tested. The United Country International Civil Air Travel Company recently provided safe travel guidelines encouraging airport terminals to go further with the security measures they must implement. Recommendations include introducing contactless technology to bags, boarding gates, and points of sale. The agency said a range of 1 meter, 3 feet, should be preserved throughout the airport, and that boarding procedures should be reviewed to avoid queues. The restrooms, he said, should be changed to non-contact equipment, and there should also be special carousels for luggage sliding that must be located for arrivals from high-risk places. As we have analyzed, countries need to reactivate their economies little by little and in some way. The risks to which people are exposed when using transport are real. In the case of urban transport, preventive measures have already been adopted, such as the mandatory spacing of people who travel on buses, forcing people not to occupy continuous seats and reducing the capacity of the buses by half. But in the case of the transport of people on commercial flights, the security conditions change, since a commercial airplane is a closed environment and the airplane air is not 100% outside air, and ventilation is limited to the conditions of the airplane in regarding its operation. Also, on a commercial flight, The air combines with the carbon dioxide that people expel when they breathe, and we already know what can happen if there is someone infected. In the case of travel that people need to do abroad or on commercial flights, the problems that may arise must be carefully considered, because although it may not seem so, there is a high risk of being able to infect or infect others. Be very careful and take precautions if you are going to take a trip on a commercial flight.